Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Global thriller. Start with Trillion Digimon. Thrilling games are coming to the world. The selected person can only risk their life to control ghosts and become a ghost tamer, in order to have a chance of survival. But Lin Yu, on the other hand, awakened the divine ditch system, and gave him the ability to use ghost coins in the ghost world. His cryptocurrency amount, billions of trillions. Almost infinite. Therefore, while other players cautiously approach ghosts and try to please them, here, Lin Yu, relying solely on the dark coin in hand, is already a completely different scene. The sexy female ghost secretary is helping him manage affairs in the ghost world, a cute and beautiful ghost director, pestering him to cooperate in trade, the fierce and powerful ghost chef is cooking for him in various ways. Looking at one powerful ghost after another surrendering to oneself in front of me, I looked at the other players struggling to survive in the dungeon again. Lin Yu sighed. This thriller game Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Thrilling game starts. I was actually a beta player. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. The strongest trench system has been activated. Today's random reward has been received. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the dark coin *1 million yuan. Balance. 9755,000,000, 97,550 trillion, Task 1. First consumption. Unfinished, task description. Accumulated expenses exceeding 100,000, 0/100000, task reward. Return 1 critical hit card, 10 Joyo Dishun wine. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Lin Yu was overwhelmed by the sound of the system in his mind, feeling somewhat helpless. Since crossing into this parallel world, this system has always existed. At first, Lin Yu was a bit excited to see himself activate the divine trench system and revive himself. I thought I was going to spend my money recklessly and indulge in extravagance in this parallel world. As a result, this damn system actually sends money in the form of cryptocurrency. Withdrawals are all gloomy copper coins and paper currency issued by Tiandi Bank. There is no circulation in the human world at all. Helpless, Lin Yu had no choice but to treat this system as non-existent. I originally intended to reach the pinnacle of my life by investing in virtual currency, but in the end, in this parallel world of Pit Fathers, there is no virtual currency at all. Lin Yu had to change his mindset and wanted to enter the literary and artistic world by replicating classic novels and music from his past life, but upon checking the information, it was discovered that the celebrities and writers who left an impression on me still exist in this world. The shortcuts for the reborn to become rich are mostly blocked. Lin Yu had to study diligently and was admitted to a good university, and through working, I also saved up a sum of money. Today is the first day of winter vacation. Originally, Lin Yu was planning to find a holiday job to earn some extra income. However, after being awakened by the system on time in the morning, after closing the system panel, a new prompt appeared in the field of vision. Congratulations. You have qualified for the 5th batch of internal testing for the thriller game. Countdown to dungeon activation. 15, 59, 59-inch 2 lines of blood-colored text appeared in front of Lin Yu. Unlike the natural feeling of the system that seems to originate from its own soul, Lin Yu intuitively felt that these 2 lines of blood-colored text did not belong to the system, because these 2 lines of text are filled with a feeling of shoddy or inferior quality compared to the system. What is this thing? Lin Yu was stunned for a moment, thinking it was his own illusion. Later, he recalled some rumors he saw on the internet in the past 2 years. The frequency of mysterious legends about various regions has been increasing. The mysterious death of a wealthy man, the sudden disappearance of a whole community, the killer who likes to skin people. The official attitude has also been somewhat ambiguous. Lin Yu has also read several posts about thriller games. The selected person will enter a world full of fierce ghosts to survive, where they can have the opportunity to control ghosts and monsters. The mysterious events in various places are caused by the return of the players in the thriller game. Some even say that the newly established Number 9 Investigation Center is also designed to deal with the existence of thriller games. And all these posts, without exception, disappeared quickly. Lin Yu, who is familiar with the routine, knows that posts that disappear faster, the more likely it is to be the truth. Based on the 2 lines of blood-colored text in front of him, Lin Yu also confirmed this. The biggest difference between this parallel world's blue star and its previous world is not the absence of virtual currency, but this thriller game. The term 5th batch also confirms this point well. This thriller game has been around for some time. 16 hours later, which is midnight, I'm about to enter a thriller game. What a pit, father. Lin Yu felt a bit helpless for a moment, because of this thriller game. Whether it's rumors or just listening to the name, it's definitely a place where one can die to the death, or even say there's no life after 10 deaths. Even if Lin Yu vaguely realized that his divine ditch system had issued the underworld coins, maybe it was prepared for this game, but he is not sure if this will make him worry-free in the game. After all, although money can make ghosts grind, but after all, that's just a common saying. What if the ghosts inside don't recognize money and only eat people? Moreover, Pifu is innocent and harbors a deep sense of guilt. What if using ghost coins to bribe Li Gui and instead making Li Gui take advantage of his wealth and kill himself to steal money? These are things I don't know, although the cryptocurrency issued by the system is likely to be useful and a good thing. But ultimately, we can't rely too much on the system. I still need to investigate the related matters of thriller games myself first. Lin Yu thought so, and soon looked up the information on the internet. As expected by Lin Yu, although the official has been blocking messages, it is impossible to delete all the information completely. This may also be to add a new vitality to those who are truly selected for thriller games. Quickly, Lin Yu sorted out several key pieces of information from the various posts he saw. Firstly, ghosts in thriller game dungeons cannot be killed arbitrarily. The actions of ghosts and humans must follow the rules. Only those who violate the rules or meet the conditions of the ghost's killing rules will be killed by the ghost. Secondly, the basic rules within the replica will generally prompt you in a more direct and prominent way at the beginning. However, there will also be certain hidden rules. Thirdly, the difficulty of dungeons is related to the strength of ghosts and the number of basic rules. The more rules a dungeon has, the harder it is to survive. Due to the difficulty of collecting information, it took Lin Yu almost a whole day's effort. After a simple rest, the thriller dungeon has also been activated. 1. Thrilling game starts. Am I actually a beta player? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. 2. Strange yellow spring inns. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Welcome to the thriller game. The name of this instance is Huangquan Inn. Task objective. Work hard and survive for 2 days. Current surviving personnel. 6 inch after the countdown reset to 0, 3 lines of blood-colored text appeared in front of the field of vision. In a moment of confusion, Lin Yu found himself standing in a gloomy, bloody and dilapidated courtyard. The blue stone tiles were covered in dried blood, and the nearby flower bed swayed with crimson flowers on the other side. The broken wooden door was ajar, making it difficult to see the scene behind, and by my side, there were 5 people with different expressions and dressed up. A middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes, with a slightly chubby figure, exudes the aura of a successful person. A young man with yellow hair, dressed in flamboyant attire, with tattoos on his arms. Resembling a social youth, a quiet, burly man with a beard wearing a hoodie, vigilantly looked around. A mature woman with average appearance but revealing clothing. There was also a small student girl wearing glasses, who shrank her shoulders in fear and looked down at the ground. Everyone looked at each other, their eyes filled with fear. Even the flowing yellow-haired youth did not shout impatiently. Obviously, everyone is aware of the danger of thriller games. And in the end, it was the quiet and reserved uncle with a beard who spoke first. It seems that this time, except for me, everyone is new. He said this and sighed. Upon hearing Uncle's words, the other 5 people, including Lin Yu, were all impressed. The mature woman pondered for a moment, suppressed her fear, and opened her mouth with a light smile. So, isn't it your first time coming, big brother? Uncle Ruoxiao nodded and said, not bad, I am a beta player in the 4th batch, and I have experienced such dungeons 5 times already. Survivors who have experienced 5 dungeons. This identity inevitably brings some peace of mind to everyone. Since someone has survived 5 times, it doesn't mean they haven't had the chance. An uncle with a beard seemed to see through everyone's thoughts, gently shaking his head. Don't be too optimistic, I survived 5 times, and each time was a near death. Every instance will definitely kill at least half of the people. Like the newbie instance you are experiencing, the newbie's survival rate is even lower and terrifying. I entered the dungeon for the first time, and 20 people entered. Only me and another newcomer survived. Along with the team's veteran, they all died in it. As he spoke, the uncle rolled up his black hoodie sleeves, his arms covered in terrifying black cracks, from which one could see rotten flesh and even dense bones. This is the price of survival. And my copy, the goal is to survive for 12 hours. But this copy needs to survive for 2 days. The hope that everyone had just ignited instantly extinguished a lot. Is this a ghost? Then we're doomed. The yellow-haired thug said calmly, showing a pessimistic expression. Damn it. The middle-aged man in a suit also cursed in a low voice. The 2 women were so scared that they covered their mouths and almost screamed. Even Lin Yu was slightly startled. However, he quickly calmed down. At least I have a system. There's always a higher chance of survival. Uncle with a beard put down his sleeve and shook his head in disappointment as he watched the 4 of them lose control of their emotions. When looking at Lin Yu, who was relatively calm, there was some relief. This newcomer has a better mindset than the others. Sometimes in dungeons, a slight difference in mentality is enough to determine a person's life or death. He calmed down and continued speaking. It's not that there's no hope at all. As someone from the past, I can give you some warning. There are rules in the dungeon. Ghosts are not reckless in the dungeon. As long as you follow the rules and don't meet the ghost's killing rules, you may get injured. But you won't die. What are the rules? Generally, the most important ones will be directly told by ghosts or written in prominent places. But that's not all the rules. Upon hearing Uncle Lu's words, Lin Yu also nodded slightly. Similar to the results of my own investigation, since these words were spoken from a survivor who survived 5 times, their credibility has once again increased. However, this uncle did not mention the connection between the number of rules and the difficulty of dungeons. I don't know if he didn't know, or if he didn't explain it to prevent panic, or maybe that's a fake message. Lin Yu did not raise any objections, because in his opinion, this bearded uncle is not entirely trustworthy. A person who can survive 5 times must have a strong will to survive. For the sake of his own survival, as a newcomer, he may be willing to sacrifice himself. The other 4 people were still immersed in shock and fear. They were digesting what Uncle with a beard had said, their faces changing, and they didn't know what they were thinking. And at this point a burst of old coughing came over. Cough. An elderly man with gray skin, wrinkles and brown spots pushed open the wooden door and entered the small courtyard. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Ghost, here we go. 2 strange yellow spring inns. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Be a runner in the underworld inn. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Although the old man appeared to be just a dying, hunched and thin old man, wearing dusty clothes, like an ancient person, but everyone, including Uncle with a beard, could feel the terrifying aura emanating from him. Lin Yu felt even more like he was facing some dangerous predator. The fear originating from the soul is like an instinct, reminding them, the old man in front of me is a ghost. However, none of the people present showed their fear. Lin Yu looked at the other few people, and the little thug's body trembled uncontrollably. The mature woman clenched her fists and pinched her nails into her flesh, but no one dared to exclaim in surprise. Everyone is well aware that if you show any unusual behavior now and wait for yourself, it is very likely to be death. And the old man's murky eyes swept over them, and a strange smile of kindness appeared on his face. Then he spoke up. Cough, everyone, welcome to the Huangquan Inn. Xiaolauer is the accountant of this Huangquan Inn. On the order of the landlady, he is here to assign work to everyone. His voice is even more hoarse than his dry cough, and just hearing it carries a sinister connotation. Subsequently, the old man covered his face and coughed twice again, ahem. However, before starting work, there are a few rules in our inn that we need to explain to everyone. Upon hearing these words, everyone suppressed their fear and perked up their ears. The warning from the beards made them aware that what the old man was saying next was probably the basic rules. First of all, whether you are assigned to the front desk or the kitchen, you must do your best to complete your work. If there is any slack, the boss lady will not spare you lightly. Speaking of which, Lin Yu noticed that there seemed to be a hint of fear in the old man's murky eyes. It seems that he is also very afraid of that landlady. Sure enough, that boss lady is a more powerful ghost than him, and even if she is a fellow ghost, she may even be a subordinate accountant. That boss lady may also take action against him. Lin Yu secretly noted this point. The old man continued, secondly, everything in the store is in disrepair for a long time and is easily damaged. If you bump it, you will have to compensate according to the price. The old man deliberately bit the word compensation very hard, obviously indicating something. A few people all have a little understanding in their hearts. In this ghost inn, if you can't break a plate, you'll have to use your life to pay for it. Thirdly, remember not to disobey customers. Although the landlady won't blame you for colliding with customers, many of the customers we entertain have a hot temper. If they find an excuse to admonish you, the landlady won't protect you either. After the old man finished speaking, he smiled bitterly. All right, do you have any further questions? Uncle with a beard didn't speak, so the other 5 naturally didn't dare to ask. The old man nodded in satisfaction and then began to assign work. All right, that big guy over there, looking at your big arms and round waist, should put in some effort and go to the kitchen to follow Mengofu and cut vegetables for him. He was the first to point to Uncle with a beard. Uncle with a beard nodded, and the old man pointed to the open wooden door. Turn left when you go out, it's the kitchen. Uncle with a beard glanced at everyone and gave them a take care look. Then I walked into the wooden door. Then, he looked at the mature woman again. You are responsible for cleaning the guest room. Turn right when you go out and go to the warehouse to find Zhang Yang, who is responsible for cleaning, to collect the tools. She will tell you what to do. The mature woman was somewhat disoriented, and her face turned pale as she nodded. Finally, she learned to shave her cheeks and walked into the wooden door. Then, the old man looked at the middle-aged man again. You seem to have some knowledge. Go straight up to the second floor when you go out, look at the sign hanging, accounting room, and wait inside. I'll ask you to reconcile the accounts. As he spoke, the middle-aged man in a suit quickly left. Finally, only Lin Yu and the petite girl wearing glasses who kept her head down remained. The old man looked at the two for a long time, and finally spoke slowly, 2 little dolls. Delicate and tender, let's go to the lobby as errand servants. Ordering and passing dishes, this doesn't require anyone to teach, does it? After entering the door, keep walking. It's the lobby. As the old man spoke, he smiled at the two of them, his withered face filled with evil. It seems like I'm really looking forward to 2 people making mistakes. Being left behind by this old ghost was already scary enough, combined with his gloomy and evil smile. Lin Yu couldn't help but feel his hair furry, and the petite girl next to him trembled uncontrollably. Let's go. Lin Yu tugged at the petite girl who had already softened her legs and led her towards the wooden door. After passing through the old man in the accounting room and the wooden door, there was a dilapidated and dark corridor. On both sides, there are piles of miscellaneous items and firewood. Looking up, you can see a quaint 3-story small building, which should be the main building of Huangquan Inn. On the corridor, there were gusts of gloomy wind and repeated sharp ghost chuckles. It scared the girl even more, seemingly to boost her courage. This silent girl finally spoke to Lin Yu in the hallway. So, what's your name? My name is Li. She was about to introduce herself, but Lin Yu interrupted her. You don't need to say it, I can call you Xiaoli. Similarly, just call me Brother Lin. Be a runner in the underworld Inn. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. For Mutations. A screaming teapot. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Yu also had his own considerations when stopping the other party from saying their names. Just now, neither the beards nor the old ghost from the accounting room reported their names. Coupled with some strange rumors that Lin Yu had seen before, he can come to the conclusion that reporting one's name in a thriller game is foolish. It's impossible to say that some ghost rules involve names. So, not reporting your real name is a universal rule that all thriller games should follow. The glasses girl surnamed Li also realized the reason why Lin Yu did this. When she heard these words, she nodded pale and then whispered, "Thank you." After this little episode, she seems to have trusted Lin Yu a lot. Subsequently, the two quickly crossed the corridor and arrived at the back door of the inn. The back door is open, revealing the entire lobby of the first floor of the inn. The green bricks on the ground, like the backyard, were sprinkled with dark red, pungent blood stains. The front desk and a few simple wooden tables and chairs are ordinary, and there are 3 huge wine jars next to them, so there is nothing unusual. The wooden menu hanging on the front desk is somewhat frightening. The bright red paint on ebony is written with things like, grilling hearts, and, white-cut 2-legged sheep, even, fuchi fipian, sliced beef and ox tongue in chili sauce, and, wife's cake, which were originally quite normal dishes, were somewhat creepy. The front door of the lobby is wide open, with a wooden sign indicating opening hanging on it. The outside is pitch black and chaotic. The entire lobby was empty, except for Lin Yu and Xiaoli. There was no one else to see. There are no other ghosts. What are we going to do next? Xiaoli subconsciously asked Lin Yu. Before Lin Yu could answer, a chilling female voice echoed in the empty lobby, waiting to greet guests. The sound startled Xiaoli. She shrank her shoulders and looked left and right. Everywhere is still empty. Is this the landlady talking? Lin Yu pondered but did not speak. At this moment, a gust of gloomy wind came from the door. A foul odor swept down the front door. Lin Yu looked up and saw a small, fat man with swelling all over his body, covered in terrifying scars like centipedes. He was covered with only a few dirty rags all over his body. His stomach was high and bulging, and his skin was all black and blue. His face is even more pronounced with his lips and teeth turned outwards. His fangs sharp and ferocious. As soon as it walked into the store, it looked in the direction of Lin Yu and Xiaoli. Goo 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 goo. He made a strange sound in his throat, which frightened Xiaoli and made her look pale. Human beings. The hideous and obese ghost made a dull and terrifying sound in its belly, raising questions. At the same time, his open mouth dripped with drooling. Seems to have seen something extremely delicious. Lin Yu looked at the guest and thought of the words from the landlady and the accountant. He quickly stepped forward and put on a smile. "Sir, please come inside." As he spoke, the fat ghost indeed showed a disappointed expression, so it was a shop assistant. He walked to a table and slowly sat down. The small stool made an unbearable creaking sound under the pressure of this meat mountain. Lin Yu was really sweating. If this stool breaks down, I don't know if this ghost will take the opportunity to cause trouble, or it can be calculated based on personal damage to items in the store. First, take a pot of hot water and a set of bowls and chopsticks. The fat ghost threw 2 copper coins onto the table and said coldly, "Good." Lin Yu walked towards a corner of the lobby, where 3 coal stoves and many utensils were placed. Xiaoli also quickly caught up. After all, whether it is neglecting work or neglecting customers, it is possible to lose one's life. the kettle on the coal stove is boiling water, and the black teapot and utensils are stacked on different shelves. Strangely, the patterns on both the kettle and the utensils resemble the faces of countless people. Lin Yu picked up the empty teapot, but suddenly heard the sound of pain. Ah! Ah! I'm in so much pain. Kill me! Kill me! He was startled, his hands trembled, and the teapot fell to the ground. Pop! It looks like a pottery teapot has been smashed. Xiao Li was instantly startled. Brother Lin! You broke the teapot. She said this, feeling a bit panicked. How about we hide it, no one will see it anyway. Lin Yu looked at Xiao Li and felt a bit more favorable towards the girl in his heart. Although timid, she is willing to worry about herself even though this matter has nothing to do with her. However, Lin Yu knows that hiding it is not feasible. And as he expected, the next moment, the cough of the old ghost in the accounting room rang out. Cough, young man, clumsy. Just as we started working, we broke the teapot. This teapot is worth 51. Xiao Li and Lin Yu turned their heads and saw the old ghost in the accounting room, who had already hunched down at some point, coming behind them. However, his expression was not angry, but rather somewhat surprised. Looking at Lin Yu's gaze, it was even more greedy. You just started working, I'm afraid you can't afford to pay for it. Then you can break the right hand of the teapot and compensate for it. He said this, reaching out his dry hand like a chicken claw and grabbing Lin Yu's right hand. Ah! Xiao Li couldn't help but scream, as if the next second she could see Lin Yu's right hand torn off. At this moment, Lin Yu shouted loudly, Stop it! You damn old man! Who said I can't afford it, young master? At the same time, Lin Yu shouted wildly in his heart. System, exchange 50,000 yuan of cryptocurrency. Distribute in the form of copper coins. For mutations. A screaming teapot. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. 5 Yin Qi Copper Coins. Shocked old accountant. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as the hand of the old accountant touched Lin Yu's arm, the copper coins exchanged by the system appeared in Lin Yu's arms. The old ghost in the accounting room urgently stopped his hand. Because this ghost suddenly felt that a pure Yin energy had suddenly appeared on Lin Yu's body. Compared to his own Yin energy. No, even stronger and purer than his own boss's Yin energy. And Lin Yu could also feel the cold touch coming from his arms. I saw 1,000 consistent and 5 guan copper coins appearing in my arms. A copper coin is equivalent to 10 yuan worth of cryptocurrency. The 4 ancient seal scripts of Tiandi Bank are printed on it, brand new and emitting an ominous atmosphere. Although there were 5 guan coins, they seemed to have little weight in Lin Yu's arms. Looking at the puzzled expression of the old ghost in the accounting room, Lin Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief. He saw the chubby ghost throwing copper coins on the table just now, and his mind was already slightly moved. This copper coin does look like the copper coins I exchanged out of curiosity before. But compared to the mottled and dilapidated copper coins, my own is much newer. Lin Yu originally wanted to find an opportunity to throw one on the ground and see how these ghosts would react, test if it can circulate here. I didn't expect to be swayed by this teapot at the beginning of the game, so, Lin Yu couldn't take a gamble. And the fact proves that I bet right. 51 is equivalent to 500 yuan in cryptocurrency. Lin Yu generously took out the usual copper coins and handed them to the old ghost in the accounting room. The old ghost in the accounting room watched as the brand new and consistent Yin Qi copper coin was handed to him, swallowing his saliva. It's not all about how greedy he is, but it's him. He's a bit afraid to take it. The old ghost looked at Lin Yu with some trepidation and fear. It's not an exaggeration to say that this consistent copper coin is 1,000. Enough to buy one's own life. If this young man promises 1,000 yuan to have the guest get rid of him now, the other party will be very willing to take action. Even if he adds some money and asks the boss to take action, it's not impossible. And this kind of copper coin. He just took it out now, he has 5 guan. Especially, one cannot even know how the other party withdrew the money. Is this some kind of storage method? This kind of family background and confidence, he is definitely not a newcomer to the dungeon for the first time. Is it possible that this is the incarnation of a certain ghost king or the chosen spokesperson? And Lin Yu looked at the frightened and greedy gaze of the old ghost in the accounting room, and also showed a funny expression. Turns out, even ghosts are afraid. Is it just 50,000 yuan that scares this guy like this? Old thing, I have over 90,000 billion. Lin Yu suddenly understood that his golden fingers were even stronger than he had imagined. Originally, he was a bit worried about what these ghosts would do if they didn't recognize money, or if they were motivated by wealth now. Through the reaction of the old ghost in the accounting room, Lin Yu has determined one thing in the dungeons of thriller games: even ghosts who see a trench will instinctively feel a sense of awe. And due to the rules, I'm afraid he really can't kill himself. After being convinced of this, Lin Yu became even more inflated. He directly stuffed the entire stack of copper coins into the hands of the old ghost in the accounting room. Just hold it when you're told. Why are you so motherly? Why, working as an accountant, haven't you seen so much money before? Lin Yu said so, and the old ghost in the accounting room smiled bitterly. He really wants to say that he hasn't seen it before. After all, when the fat ghost came to eat and drink, he threw out 2 copper coins. It is still broken and severely drained of Yin Qi. Obviously, the purchasing power of cryptocurrency is much higher than Lin Yu imagined. As a result, being actively touched by this human, the old ghost in the accounting room did not take the opportunity to harm Lin Yu. On the contrary, there was still some hesitation. Well, it's not quite in line with the rules for you to give me so much money. The old ghost in this accounting room is even worried that this is not a condition for Lin Yu to kill the ghost rule. After all, powerful ghosts and ghost hunters, even if they want to kill other ghosts, still need rules, and the act of reaching out to grab him just now must have offended Lin Yu. So, in order to save his life, he bravely asked. Lin Yu put on a slightly thoughtful look. Actually, he looked at his task list. Task 1. First consumption. Unfinished, task description. Accumulated expenses exceeding 100,000, 10,000/1000000, task reward. Return 1 critical hit card, 10 Joyo Dishun wine. The teapot in the compensation store is really a cost. Thinking of this, Lin Yu no longer hesitated, but instead stuffed the remaining 4 guan coins into the arms of the old ghost in the accounting room. You're right, with all this money, the compensation for the top quality purple clay teapot at Huangquan Inn is indeed a bit less. I'll give you all the 5 guan coins. The old ghost in the accounting room is completely confused. What exactly does this mean? Although Yin Qi copper coins have no weight and are extremely cold, but he still felt the copper coins in his hand, hot and heavy. P.S. New books require support in order for authors to have motivation. 3,000 flowers plus 1 update, 300 review tickets plus 1 update, 30-month tickets plus 1 update, 3 rewards plus 1 update, all thanks to family. 5 Yin Qi copper coins. Shocked old accountant. Looking for flower evaluation tickets. Thank you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.